Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. Last week it was announced that the Disney-Fox deal is all but finished, confirming that the Fantastic Four and the X-Men are coming to the MCU. But a less talked about side of this is Marvel Television. They have already produced two non-MCU X-Men shows, Legion and The Gifted, both of which were pretty successful. But now they'll be able to make even more X-Men shows that could actually be set in the MCU. So I've been thinking a lot about it lately, and today I decided to make a video on what I think Marvel Television should do next. Not just with the X-Men, but also with new characters they already own, or shows that have been running for years now. I'll be doing this based on the networks, so I'll be going over ABC, Netflix, FX, Fox, Hulu, Freeform, and the upcoming Untitled Disney streaming service. Disney has decreed that Marvel can only put shows on networks that they own, so that's actually pretty much all the options for Marvel, except maybe Sky, which is a British TV network owned by Fox. But let's get started with... ABC was the first network Marvel TV used, and it thus far has produced 3 shows: Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, and Inhumans. Agent Carter and Inhumans have both been cancelled, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still going strong after 6 years on air, with Season 6 set to premiere with a shorter 13-episode season next year. I'd like to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. continue like this. This is a show that I could see going on for a long time, serving as a staple of Marvel Television. And part of the reason for that is that it wouldn't at all be hard for it to be a legacy series, with constantly changing leads and supporting characters. For example, Coulson was the lead character of the last 5 seasons, but unless they pull a cheap cop-out, it looks like he was finally laid to rest for good around the MCU's 10th anniversary, which couldn't be a more fitting time for Coulson to make his exit. After that, I very much expect Quake to take over as the series lead for the next couple of seasons. Daisy's absolutely a strong enough character to do that, and even after Quake makes her exit, they could find another new lead. Perhaps someone we haven't met yet. Honestly, Abigail Brand would be a pretty cool character to do that with, and Marvel will have her rights after the Fox deal is done. Beyond Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think it's very likely that ABC will pick up New Warriors, and that it will premiere in January 2019. ABC has, in the past, said they're looking for 2 things with their new shows: comedies and strong female leads. New Warriors has both of those, with Squirrel Girl serving as the main character of the series. So I feel like it's only logical that New Warriors goes on ABC to play during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s breaks, like Agent Carter and Inhumans used to do. But even further beyond New Warriors, the next series I'd love to see on ABC is Generation X. This wouldn't happen for years, not until the X-Men are very much established in the MCU. But I'd love to see a TV series that focuses on the kids of the X-Mansion: Glob, Herman, Blindfold, Anal, Surge, etc. Jubilee would probably be the lead character, and I could see characters like Quentin Quire playing roles as well. Now, there could be some issues if they can't get any big-name X-Men characters to go on, but honestly, I could see someone like Kitty Pryde making the occasional cameo to make the MCU feel more connected. One of the previous X-Men franchise's biggest faults was how they failed to make Xavier's school feel alive. The students there were just random extras who never really contributed anything. Giving the X-Men their own TV series would help to really make the X-Men's world feel more colorful and exciting. As of right now, Netflix has 5 Marvel shows in the works: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Punisher. Personally, I'd like to see Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and The Punisher continue on as normal, with the only difference being that they have the option to have shorter seasons if the showrunner wants them to. However, I think Netflix should cancel both Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Season 2 should be both those shows' final seasons, and next fall they should debut their new series, Heroes for Hire, which focuses on Danny, Luke, Colleen, and Misty. A couple reasons I think they should do this. A, it's only going to get harder for all of these actors to continue to bounce back and forth between these shows. I mean, can you imagine how tough Simone Missick's shooting schedule would be? now that she's a supporting character on both Luke Cage and Iron Fist. And B, that would cut Netflix's schedule down a good bit, which could allow us to have a new season of every Marvel series on a yearly basis, instead of having to wait large periods of time until the next series is ready. I think the showrunner of this should be Chio Hodari Coker, and in fact, I have my suspicions that he's already working on it. Netflix has been weirdly quiet about Season 3 of Luke Cage, and the Netflix head did recently say that Coker and his team were working on a potential Luke Cage Season 3, but what if he was lying about that? What if Season 2, Episode 10 of Luke Cage was a test to see if viewers would react well to Danny and Luke teaming up? And since it was successful, they're now developing a Heroes for Hire series. I even could see a lot of Luke Cage Season 2 plot threads carrying over, such as Nightshade and Luke's dark turn. Who better to get Luke out of this than his friend Danny? I'm doing both FX and Fox here for the sake of brevity, but also because I don't expect much more from Fox. I think they'll continue making The Gifted and not much else. The most I could see working there is a Gambit series, but I feel like it's more likely he'd be used in the movies so that he could be connected to Rogue. FX, however, is a different story. I honestly don't see Legion running for much longer just because it feels like a very finite story. I love the show, so I certainly wouldn't complain if it did, but I wouldn't be surprised if Season 3 is the final season of Legion. But I'd love to see FX continue to produce Marvel shows, especially Multiple Man. James Franco has been producing a Multiple Man movie for a while now, but what if they altered it slightly to be an FX dramedy series, kind of like Atlanta in some ways? I'd love to see a series about Jamie working as a PI in, say, Chicago. It could have crime noir elements, but it could put those two comedic elements that would arise from Jamie's powers and his generally clumsy personality. I think that could make for a really great series. Another thing I'd like to see is a Longshot miniseries. It could be an action series about Longshot leading a revolution against Mojo. I think it'd be perfect for FX, especially if they embrace some of the more surreal elements of Mojo World. I see a pretty bright future ahead for Hulu and Marvel. Since Disney doesn't own Netflix, I think Hulu will become the new home for R-rated stuff. Obviously, I think Runaways will continue for a while longer, maybe about 5 seasons in total. There's a lot of camaraderie between Hulu and Freeform, so I'm expecting a Cloak and Dagger Runaways crossover at some point in the future. My first choice for a new Hulu series is probably, unsurprisingly, Ghost Rider. I just think he'd be a great series, and while they might make him into a movie, as that way they wouldn't have to worry about budget problems, I still think a Ghost Rider TV series would work best, and Hulu would be a great place for that to happen. Beyond that, I'd really love to see a New Mutants series on Hulu. I'm very much expecting next year's movie to just not happen at all, so I'd like to see them take a lot of the ideas from that movie and transfer them to a New Mutant show. I'd like it to be darker, the kids are in some facility instead of Xavier's mansion. I'd even like to see the movie cast return, as they are all really great choices for their characters, but I know that's probably unlikely. Cloak and Dagger just finished its first season last night. It was actually surprisingly pretty good overall. They've already announced Season 2, which is set to debut next spring, with Mayhem as the main villain. So obviously Cloak and Dagger should continue on as normal. But I think Freeform has proven to be a neat place that's a bit more creatively strong than ABC. So there are 2 characters I think would be perfect for Freeform. The first is White Tiger. This series would either follow Ava Ayala or Angela Del Toro, or I don't know, maybe both. If it's Ava, it could be more of a teen drama, but with Angela, they could take a PI route. Cloak and Dagger proved to, at times, almost rival the Netflix shows in terms of what they could show, so it's a good place for a more street-based character like White Tiger. The other character, though, is in the opposite direction, but it's Dazzler. I don't know, I just feel like it would be a lot of fun to explore a rock star trying to pursue her musical career, while also dealing with mutant abilities. It'd make for a kind of fun show. It might not be as dark as the previous 2, but I still think Freeform would be the best home for Dazzler. Now this is different from the others because we don't actually know what their first Marvel series is, but I have a pretty good guess that it's about Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and that John Ridley is serving as the showrunner. I've made plenty of videos explaining why I think that's the case in the past. I'd recommend you go watch those if you're not on board. I really think the evidence lines up. But I'd like to see Marvel add some more shows in the future. The only thing we know about Disney's service is that they want to keep it mostly family friendly. So no R-rated stuff, which means whatever comes next can't be a darker character. So with that said, I'd like to see a live-action Power Pack series, but with a bit of a twist. I think it would be cool if, instead of being super kid-friendly, it had a bit of a Stranger Things kind of vibe to it. I think that would work really well for these characters. Like maybe it could be based in a small town, and their main threat could be the Snarks, or however this is pronounced. I really think a more young adult synth vibe could work wonders for the Power Pack. But that's where I'm going to leave this off. Those are all of the characters I'd like to see get TV shows in the coming years. I didn't mention Blade or Moon Knight just because now that they have the chance at getting R-rated films, I'm kind of growing on that idea. There are plenty more shows I'd love to see, like Elsa Bloodstone, Wonder Man, Deathlock, Mockingbird, but I'm going to end it here just so that this video isn't 20 minutes long. So with all of that said, I'd love to know all of your thoughts and theories. What kind of shows would you like to see happen? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Welcome to Harlem, the home of innovating. Legacies and stories of gods killing Satan, where they honor Harlem's father, Philip Payton. The Renaissance in the making. Ellington, Garvey, Joe Louis, Lena Horne.